We need to talk about the LA riots and the chaos that has surrounded it. How did they start, and what caused the people of Los Angeles to rally? What if I told you that the narrative surrounding Trump's ICE raids were mostly manufactured lies and fake news? I say this because there are actually several concerning viral videos that helped guide these events that I found online. Viral videos that have essentially helped create mass hysteria regarding the Trump ICE raids. And in this video, I'm going to go through the several viral videos and propaganda that circulated the internet that essentially helped pave the way for the City of Angels to once again be tortured by fire and violence. So imagine this, you're at your kid's graduation ceremony, there are balloons, applause, fifth graders in paper caps, and then panic. Parents are grabbing their children, running out of the building. Someone screams, "ICE is here." You don't stop to ask questions, you just run. That's exactly what millions of people thought happened at Gratz Elementary in Los Angeles earlier this month. All due to this video that went viral.
A neighboring school, I think it's Gratz, I don't know how to say it. It's Gratz or something like that. They were having their graduation. And there's helicopters in the sky. Most of these schools are most of these schools are predominantly Hispanic. Gratz, I believe, Elementary was having their graduation. And all of a sudden, a bunch of parents have to run out because ISIS is there. This is the story that I'm hearing. And, our school goes on lockdown. Our principal, tells us it's a drill, but we know it's not a drill. And, I had to come outside. It's my break. We kind of got off of a soft lockdown. And parents had to run out because they don't have papers. And they had to leave their kids because the kids do.
Except this never happened. The story exploded online after an Instagram video went viral. In it, a man chokes up as he describes a supposed ICE raid on a school graduation. He claims that parents who didn't have papers were fleeing the scene and their children were left screaming and grabbing onto teachers. The video racks up millions of views, and it doesn't take long for the outrage to follow. TikTok clips, X posts, activist accounts claiming this is what fascism looks like. Even verified users start sharing the story like it's confirmed fact. The message is clear. The US government is now raiding elementary schools. But here's the truth. There was no raid, no ICE agents entered the school, no parents were detained. No federal operation took place at Gratz Elementary at all. The Los Angeles Unified School District Superintendent held a press conference just days later saying this.
As I'm addressing you, there are two schools in our community that within a couple of blocks we see federal vans parked. No action has been taken, but we interpret those actions as actions of intimidation.
So what actually triggered the chaos? According to school officials and media investigations, several unmarked SUVs were spotted near the school around the same time. Parents, already on edge from recent ICE activity elsewhere in the city, jumped to conclusions. The school district later explained, "We are aware of recent rumors circulating on social media regarding immigration enforcement activity at the 5th grade culmination ceremony at Gratz Learning Academy for young scholars on June 6, 2025. These claims are false." In other words, it was all disinformation. But that was not the end of the story, because once the panic went viral, no one wanted to hear the correction. The clarification from LAUSD? Ignored. The media follow-ups that debunked the story? Barely shared. The emotional video still racking up views. And in a city already on edge, this moment was helping light the fuse. By the time federal agents were seen near other LA schools later that week, not entering just nearby, the moral panic was already at a 10. Rumors started swirling online that ICE was using graduations to bait illegal aliens. Protest demonstrations followed, and by the weekend, LA was on fire again. Riots broke out in multiple districts. Protesters blocked the 101 freeway. Stores were looted. Federal agents clashed with demonstrators in downtown. The mayor issued a nighttime curfew. President Trump sent 4,000 National Guard troops and 700 Marines to the city to support ICE and local law enforcement. And all of it, at least emotionally, traces back to a story that never actually happened. This wasn't just a case of misinformation, it was a masterclass in how false narratives go viral in a hyper-polarized America. One emotional post, one unverified claim, millions of shares, and real-world chaos. It shows just how fragile the public trust really is, especially when the story confirms what people already fear. It doesn't need to be true, it just needs to feel true. And in 2025, that's enough to light a match. But this begs the question around the topic of media misinformation and how quickly false narratives circulate the internet. Like, what else has incited in you false emotions based on videos you've seen online? But if the fake ICE raid rumor was the spark, then this next part, this is the gasoline. As the rest of the world was watching Los Angeles get taken over by mostly peaceful protesters, as people like Kamala Harris described them, some people on social media decided to take things a little bit further than just showing moral support. Just days after the false panic at Gratz Elementary, a popular account on X called LA Scanner took things even further. The account, run anonymously at the time, began posting what it claimed were the names, photos, home addresses, and license plates of alleged federal ICE agents operating in Los Angeles. No redactions, no context, just pure doxing. On Sunday evening, the account posted, LA 25 riots are getting wild. I genuinely hope this doesn't end in anybody losing their life, but it's starting to feel like it might, before resuming posts showing the locations of ICE activity. And not surprisingly, it blew up. Activist accounts began resharing the posts, threads popped up urging people to confront these agents in public. Some demanded boycotts of businesses allegedly linked to the agents' family members. The tone turned openly hostile very fast. However, LA Scanner soon found out what it is like to be on the other end of online doxing. As the account exploded during the height of the riots, it didn't take long for the internet to start digging. And they found him. The man behind it all was 22-year-old Jack Quillen, a self-identified progressive activist with a long paper trail of anti-government rhetoric and a past criminal record. Turns out he wasn't exactly hiding. Just months earlier, during the January wildfires, Quillen had spoken to the Los Angeles Times under his real name, openly identifying himself as the person behind the LA Scanner account. But here's the twist. Just days later, Quillen deleted his account and turned himself in. He walked into a federal office in downtown LA with legal counsel and reportedly admitted that he may have broken multiple federal laws by doxing the agents. And let's be clear, he did far more than just posting names. Quillen posted full personal details of agents accused of participating in what he claimed were child-targeting raids. He framed it as accountability, but to law enforcement and federal prosecutors, it looked a lot more like incitement. A DHS spokesperson confirmed that additional resources had to be redirected to protect federal employees in the region as protests intensified. The criminal ramifications were severe. ICE officials condemned the doxing, calling it a direct threat to the safety of law enforcement officers and their families. Legal experts pointed out that doxing federal agents engaged in active operations could fall under multiple criminal statutes, especially when violence results. And while that alone is serious enough, the timing made it even worse. It poured fuel on a city already burning.
Police are still looking for. Authorities there identifying that man now on Saturday. Border Patrol had a staging area in Paramount, California, when they were confronted by protesters. Agitators then started throwing glass bottles and chunks of cement toward authorities, who fired back with tear gas and rubber bullets. Video there obtained by Fox.
Activists cited the dox agents as proof that ICE was hunting immigrant families. Protest organizers used the information to justify blocking federal buildings and ICE vehicles. And social media again became a moral megaphone, turning one man's reckless online stunt into a citywide escalation. Because here's the thing, this was never about whether or not agents were following the law. It was about feeding a fire that was already burning. The belief that ICE is evil, that enforcement is fascism, that every agent is part of some shadow war against immigrants, that version felt too righteous to question. The doxing didn't spark outrage, it weaponized it. It gave the online mob names, faces, addresses. And just like with the fake ICE raid at Gratz Elementary, the accountability didn't matter because the emotion was already pre-installed. What mattered was the ideology, the echo chamber. The riots that follow don't come from a single moment. They come from a string of social media flashpoints. One emotional lie, one dangerous overstep, and an audience that already believes the system is out to get them. And once that narrative takes hold, facts don't stand a chance. It wasn't just random social media accounts or fringe activists that played a role in setting the stage for chaos. Nope, it also came from our most trusted, humbled, and intellectually superior sources of truth and righteousness: celebrities.
The America that I love, the America that I've sung to you about, that has been a beacon of hope and liberty for 250 years, is currently in the hands of a corrupt, incompetent, and treasonous administration. Tonight, we ask all who believe in democracy and the best of our American experiment to rise with us, raise your voices, stand with us against authoritarianism, and let freedom reign.
That's billionaire Bruce Springsteen blasting Trump from his sold-out European tour.
Hi, everyone. I wanted to get on here and finally compose myself to do a message because of everything that's happening with the mass deportations. Every time I try to record a message, I just start crying, and then I don't want it to be about me and my emotions about it, but it's just so inhumane, hard to watch. It's hard to witness from afar. I can't imagine what it's like to be in Los Angeles right now. I can't believe it's happening in Austin, Texas. I can't believe it's happening all over the country. And the comments and people's reactions to it is really so surprising to me because it is un-American. We all can agree nobody wants criminals in our country. Nobody wants rapists, nobody wants drug dealers, nobody wants bad actors in our country. That's not what's happening. These roundups are happening in birthday parties, in elementary graduations, Home Depot. Those are not criminals. And I just hope that everybody has more compassion to this issue and realize we have industries dependent on immigrant labor. These are people who feed us and take care of us and take care of our families and our children and our communities, and we can't deny them as humans. We just can't. And those of you that keep yelling, well, you should have come here legally, do it, get in the back of the line. There is no line. There's no line. This mythical line that everybody's talking about. There's people that have been waiting for citizenship for 25 years that have been in line. And I just ask for you guys to educate yourself. If you're out there yelling, good, they deserve this, they don't.
And actress Ava Longoria with her tearful response to elementary school ICE raids, recorded, of course, from her mansion in Spain. That's the level of discourse we're working with. Because as the situation in Los Angeles spiraled, celebrities did what celebrities do best. They took the opportunity to virtue signal, not call for peace, not ask for clarity, but to shout louder into the echo chamber and make sure their fans knew whose team they were on. Because in Hollywood, the rule is simple. If Trump is doing it, it's wrong. Even if it's lawful, even if it helps people, even if it makes perfect sense. All that matters is that you say the right words and hate the right guy. And if you do, you'll get the applause, headlines, and a high five from your PR team. Last week, Kim Kardashian made the news again when she posted to X, "When we witness innocent, hardworking people being ripped from their families in inhumane ways, we have to speak up. We have to do what's right," which surprisingly got a fiery response from Department of Homeland Security Tricia McLaughlin, who sarcastically asked Kim, which one of these convicted child molesters, murderers, drug traffickers, and rapists would like to stay in the country? McLaughlin accompanied her reply with images of several convicted criminals, violent offenders, that were being deported by ICE. But again, facts don't trend. Feelings do. Then there's Demi Lovato, who took to her Instagram to declare that she stands with those living in fear. Lovato then went on to share links to resources that would aid and assist illegal immigrants in their fight against immigration enforcement. It was vague enough to dodge responsibility, but clear enough to stoke the outrage machine. Lovato's posts were made within 24 hours of fellow pop star Katy Perry, claiming that illegal migrants are being hunted like criminals in their ancestral home, implying that California and Los Angeles belong to them. But none of this is harmless, because whether these celebrities know it or not, they are essentially dog whistling to extremists. They're speaking in broad, inflammatory language that agitators and radicals interpret as confirmation, justification for their actions. They're not just expressing opinions, they're influencing impressionable fans who are looking for something to believe in. And just as guilty as Hollywood celebrities, if not more so, are social media influencers. If Trump hasn't found a good reason to ban TikTok, then this just might be it. Leftist TikTokers are having emotional breakdowns after listening to audio of a child crying because her mother was taken by ICE. The thing is, the audio is from a movie and is fake.
It was brought to my attention that the sound of the little girl crying because her mother's getting deported is not even real. It's from a movie. Oh my gosh, bro, y'all sound so dumb. Let me show you something. Little tears. Just wait for it, just wait for it. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be laughing.
You said...
This is where it came from. Like, you guys just look stupid. Like, you look so stupid. Please. I can't with y'all anymore. I can't. Keep crying about it, I guess. Keep tagging me in y'all's videos. I don't care. Keep crying about it. Love y'all. God bless.
Across TikTokers, creators have also jumped on the chance to let everyone know which team they play for.
Apprehending them and taking them away from their families and their jobs and the lives they've built here doesn't bother you, then you're a bad person. And I don't want to be your friend. And I don't care about your opinion.
I say this in the most disrespectful way possible as a first-generation American whose parent is not from this country. If you got here and you got papers and you agree with what's going on right now, fuck you.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but being undocumented isn't a crime. You're just racist. See you in hell. Mwah.
I think it's important to remember that though what Trump is doing in LA is absolutely deranged and incredibly fucked up, it is an act of desperation. The people behind all this, though it may seem very calculated, are not smart.
This is one of those moments where silence feels really fucking loud, because what do you mean you're not absolutely horrified by what's happening right now? If you are not absolutely horrified by what's going on right now, your delusion.
Influencer and content creators, if you can't even reshare something, we see you. Speak the fuck up. You should not deserve a platform if you can't even reshare. We see you.
I say this with the most disrespect possible, but if you reap the benefits of Los Angeles and you're not willing to protect and respect the individuals who are the beating heart of Los Angeles, then leave this city. Because there are plenty of other states and plenty of other cities that will take you and your inhumane worldview, but it's not here.
But before anyone starts to believe that maybe all this outrage is genuine, let's take a look at some interesting similarities in the messaging.
Being in a country that you're in illegally is a civil offense, not a criminal one. You know what else is a civil offense? Jaywalking.
And being undocumented is not a criminal offense. It's a civil one. And if you've ever jaywalked, congratulations, because you've also committed a civil offense.
Have you ever sped over the speed limit? Have you ever drank or smoked underage? Have you ever drank and then driven a car? What about jaywalking?
Being undocumented in America is a civil offense. It's not a criminal one. It's the same caliber of crime as a traffic offense.
Just a reminder, in case anyone forgot, being undocumented is a civil offense, not a criminal one.
If you've so much as littered on public property, I never want to hear, oh, but they broke a law, as a justification for your hate.
If these influencers are choosing not to use their platforms, let's force them to. I'm tired of all these influencers not speaking up right now because things are happening right now in our own backyards, and some of these people are staying quiet.
I'm taking note of clocking in and following every single LA-based creator who is completely ignoring
what's going on.
Where the fuck are all these loudmouth ass celebrities and influencers when they get on this internet and they dropping music, or they're dropping a collab, or they're dropping a motherfucking beauty kit, or they're dropping a motherfucking perfume? Baby, people are getting snatched up in the United States of America.
Ashley, I'm actually really happy to see you here. Does this mean that you and your husband are no longer big Trump supporters, given that you're agreeing with this video? I hope so.
If you are okay with the things going on in the United States right now, please unfollow me and never speak to me again.
If you're white and see an ICE raid happening and you don't get involved, I think you're a pussy. And I don't respect you at all.
If you voted for Donald Trump in the last election, you are a bad person. If you continue to endorse Trump and his policies since the election, you are a bad person. If you do not think what ICE is doing in California right now is problematic, you are a bad person.
If you support the president violating congressional law and sending the military to arrest people who are executing their First Amendment rights, you are a fascist.
If you support ICE, disrespectfully gargle on my penis.
It's almost as if it were all a trend rather than a revolution, as if fake narratives are controlling the outcome of our politics. This is not a small problem. Every voice, famous or not, is contributing to the unraveling of public trust and basic civility. We're watching the country fracture, not because of one issue, but because the people with the biggest megaphones can't be bothered to speak with honesty, responsibility, or even basic self-awareness. All of it, every clip, every tweet, every careless post, is shaping a cultural polarization we haven't seen in this country since, well, the Civil War. And if we're not careful, we may not like what comes next. But I'd love to know what you guys think. Should social media influencers and TikTokers be held accountable for inciting violence and sharing fake news disinformation? Leave your comments below.